It's more than just a sad feeling or a tear falling from an eye. It's like suffering under a ceiling that gets smaller by and by. It's called depression, a DSM-5 mental diagnosis. It turns your brain inside out and causes a recession. Fatigue, worthlessness, insomnia, and guilt, lack of fun and feelings of death like you weren't supposed to be built. Look around. Believe it or not, 1 in 10 suffer a lot. From now until next year, 20% more will be diagnosed that year. It's not caused from just a bad day at school. It can come from obesity, stroke, lack of education, and genes that ain't so cool. Unlucky for women, they have it the most. STD pregnancies, periods, eating disorders. Yeah, they are the queen host. Look into her eyes and you see the epitome of pain. Starvation, vomiting, chewing, spitting, hurling, napping, barely breathing, dying. Getting weaker and weaker, she brought herself to shame. An eating disorder is complicated, life-threatening, and not so uncommon. It hurts my mind to think of the fact that 1 in 5 are part of this stat. It's bad for big girls and small girls to indulge in this problem. Teeth problems, mental problems, health problems, and fake mentalities of being fat. What's wrong? Why are you shaking and crying when 2 seconds ago you were talking and smiling? Your temperature is hot and your eyes fully glassed. Your body is shaking, hands numb. I think she's totally lost. Too many emotions bubbling over. She turns from her table and yaks on Yik Yak. It says, OMG, that girl just barfed after class. Is she a loser, a drunk, bulimic? Oh, she definitely doesn't have an ass. Oh, I see. It's PTSD. The disease that sends you back and back and back over things so scary life doesn't give you any slack. It looks real, sounds real, tastes real, feels real, but on the outside, what's the big deal? Okay, let's take a second and breathe. We're talking about depression, eating disorders, and PTSD. I want to share with you a story that's unfortunately true. It's a combination of a boy, a girl, me, and you. In 2005, she was sitting at her desk, both feet up and taking a rest. Her brother came in, shouting louder than the devil because their mom and dad was killed because of their color. She was white, he was half and half, and that didn't seem to matter until their whole world came shattering down with the fact that innocence wasn't the matter. It was the fact that people were racist, schizophrenic, and insane, taking the lives of the innocent with 1 bullet and a second of fame. Anxiety had subsided, PTSD wasn't present, and depression hadn't grown. But in 2007, everything had shown. After sleeping on 1 CPS cot, 1 couch, and someone's floor, the boy was raped and the girl was hurt so much more. Each and every day it felt like 1,000 pounds holding her against the fire, because depression is the pressure building from the internal liar. Depression feels like rolling out of bed and feeling like shit, crawling back under the covers as if you've been hit. Even after 80 hours of sleep, you still can't shake it. You know, an eating disorder is basically that allergic reaction to her body constantly screaming because fuzz covers her body, sunken circles around her eyes cover her soul's gleaming. There are tips and tricks being thinner than that magazine, which makes meals taste like throwing up and giving in. Depression is like taking 60 milligrams of Prozac because 15, 20, 30, and 45 weren't enough. It's like taking sleep medication that wakes you up too late and feeling hungover, giving her flashbacks to that time when her dad raped her brother because he was hungover. She switched her medication and failed her next test because that sleep medication gave her memory loss, and that wasn't the best. Depression and ED and PTSD holds her hostage to her room. She feels hopeless inside, just wishing she knew, but depression makes something out of everything. And the stereo PTSD stuck on replay ruins everything. She wondered if it was wrong to envision herself dying, if anyone ever noticed her day by day crying. Would it be worth it to use the noose, gun, pills, knife, and 4-wheel drive to just prove the fact that she was never truly alive? You see, depression and ED and PTSD are commonly intertwined and not easy to see. She's just trying to cope with life and find the missing key. She learned that surviving is more than just that motivational quote on the door. It's easier said than done to fall down 7 times and stand up 1 more. In 2014, she found her path. She learned that life is not just about surviving, but standing up strong and thriving. Through Jesus, a medication, nutritionist, doctor, and therapist, she learned that life is more than just a solo dance, but a jig with hundreds and thousands of others. What was the chance that others that she talked with had similar experiences with death, rape, sibling loss, injury, and illness? She learned that life was a blessing. I am learning that life is a blessing, and you will learn one day that life is a blessing, because in ED, PTSD, anxiety, and depression are a bad combination, but not a death sentence. Thank you.